Good morning.
Good morning.
Shannon is back, everybody. Woo! Tracy Bogert, Wes Perkins. What is up? And Shannon, probably at the break, sometime this morning, I'll try to do it earlier than that. You probably saw they wanted Diamonds Direct scripts. So there's 3 of them. I'll probably copy you on those. I don't know, if you load them in the morning or if you have a PO, or I still don't know how that all works on my end.
Are they for next week?
They're for next week. Yeah, the 10th through the 23rd.
I think I saw something about that.
Yeah, so hopefully there's no hurry or anything, but what's weird, it's like a whole bunch of them hit it once last night, like right before the Spurs game. There's a Michelob Ultra for Brown Distributing, and they go, oh, by the way, these are due today. And I was like, nobody told me there was even anything to record yet. And I was at home. I just woke up from my nap at like 2 yesterday. These are due today by the end of business. So I wound up coming to the station 3 times. Then I came and I recorded it at 3, and it was the wrong copy. I got home and copy. Thank you.
I thought they made a rule that everything had to be in at least 24 hours in advance.
Apparently
Not
didn't.
That you have to follow it, apparently.
Yeah.
Rules are meant to be broken.
Yes, apparently. And every time I find myself bitching about it, I keep reminding myself, A, first world problems.
Right.
And B, I've got a job, so I should be just happy to shut up and do what you're supposed to. Oh, man. Yeah, Wes Perkins, a game and a half now. The Spurs lead over New Orleans. 7 to play for the Spurs and 6 for the Pelicans. You are correct. And John Williams sent me a message last night saying Dale Hansen, the sports guy on TV in Dallas, theorizing Pop will retire at the end of this year. So you may just have 7 games left to watch Pop on the Spurs sideline, Spurs fans. We may talk about that a little bit. Hector Gomez, good morning. John Williams, Tracy Bogert.
Now, Chris Duel.
It is Thursday. We just begin the weekend on Thursday because we can, because we should, and we give you permission to begin the weekend on Thursday. If you want to blow off work, you want to just start drinking heavily, although if you do, designated driver or, get an Uber. Don't go drinking and driving. That ain't right. That ain't good. That ain't smart. But welcome to Thursday. Welcome to the weekend. It's the Chris Duel Show for the first time in 3 mornings with Shannon Salty Sweeney. She is back. Shannon, what is up?
We did it. We did it. We got our second COVID shot and all of the fun that comes along with it, but we are back. So thank you for holding it down and allowing me to sleep as much as possible.
Well, you were missed, obviously, but you had a similar... I got mine on a Thursday. Mm-hmm. It hit me big time on the Friday, so I took that day off from work. And then on the Saturday, it was still much of the 2 days after. So mine went about 36 hours. So when I heard from you yesterday that you were still feeling some effects into the second day, that we had apparently similar experiences there.
Yeah, I had a worse fever yesterday morning than I did
the
morning prior. And my eyeballs, they wanted nothing to do with me. They were just, either keep me shut or take me out of your eye sockets. It hurts in here. Very strange. We texted a little last night. I don't know what's going on with the booster shots, but I'm hoping that there's no side effects with those. Because it's also so weird. Like we were talking about, maybe we'll be at work, maybe we won't. It just depends how it hits you. And so now that, we both know that it hit us. I don't know, it's strange. Like for our business, they have 2 weeks of a grace period for us. Should you get COVID, you can have, instead of taking regular 6 days, you take these special COVID days. Well, what about my booster shot days?
Yes.
In the future.
Well, and see, when you text, I have completely put booster shot out of my mind. I just knew I had to get both shots.
Right.
And then then I hear, well, maybe in 6 to 12 months, it might be time for a booster shot. We'll see. So when you mentioned that on a text yesterday, I'm going, oh my God, I just survived shot number 2. Now I got to think about a booster shot.
Yeah.
So
not only did you survive it, we both had to claw our way to get one to begin with.
yes. But here's what's so weird, Shannon. And you even said this to me in a text yesterday. As weird as our experience was, and oh, by the way, we know people. My good friend Steve Duraco is roughly my age, also had both Pfizer shots like I did and had 0 side effects. So you just never know person to person.
Right.
But you had some side effects. You missed work. I had some side effects. I missed work. But I think we both feel, that's why I feel weird talking on the radio about side effects. I don't want to discourage anybody from getting vaccinated, because I think even though you just went through it, I think you're happy you got your 2 shots.
Yeah, absolutely. The 36 hours, especially knowing that they're just side effects and they will subside, much better than getting COVID itself. And yeah, you're totally right. I missed out on 2 national holidays. May the 4th be with you and Cinco de Mayo yesterday.
Yeah.
I originally had Cinco de Mayo plans to go get margaritas with a good friend of mine who did get the same shot as me, the Pfizer, and had no bad experience either time. So when she texted me yesterday, like, you ready for Mars? I was like, I am not. You have a good time. But she was very surprised to hear that I did get some side effects. But I didn't think it was right to, even though I was feeling better, to go out and drain myself and have some margaritas.
You would have had reason to celebrate. I'm just saying. And by the way, and I meant to tell you this via text or email or phone, but Chris Almendarez of the Round Rock Express, the president, joined us a couple of mornings ago, and I know you set up that interview,
Yeah.
and he even said on the way out of the interview, and he was great, and we'll have him back. But he said, I'm sorry, I miss Salty. I wanted to talk with her this morning. And I said, well, we'll just have to bring you back when she's here.
I know. Those folks at the Round Rock Express are phenomenal. That organization in and of itself is top notch for AAA. Excited to feel well enough to head out there tonight and take in the first game in 601 days.
Sweet. Outstanding.
It's been that long, but super excited.
Now, let me ask Dave Ayler, our soundscape stylist. All right, Dave, you've had shot number 1.
Yes.
And you hear about Shannon, and you've heard about me having some side effects. I mean, here we are. We're both fine now. Are you at all apprehensive about shot number 2? And when do you get shot number 2?
I'm not feeling real good about it.
So sorry.
It's a week from tomorrow.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's, if I get the same reaction that you guys had, I'm going to end up killing off the whole weekend just sleeping.
Yeah.
More than usual, I guess I should say, because I sleep a lot on the weekends anyway. But I get it Friday. I'm going to stop by at Wonderland Mall on the way home from work on next Friday and get it done. So we'll see what happens.
Is that really the name of a mall, San Antonio?
Oh yeah, it's been here forever. Yeah,
phenomenal name for a mall.
It's changed names. When I was a kid, it was Wonderland Mall, and at the time, it seemed like a big mall. Whereas by the time I would be 20, malls were like 5 times the size. But yeah, it was called Wonderland, and later it became Crossroads, then Wonderland of the Americas. And is it back to Wonderland, Dave? I don't even know what we call it now.
I think so. I don't know. I just call it Wonderland.
Yeah, Wonderland. But yeah, that's a cool name. So let's see. We got a contest coming up. We got 3 moments of contesting for you today, and they're 2 separate contests, like we've been doing for a number of weeks at 620 and 720. The Grand in Your Hand cash contest, a chance for you with a keyword. Go to one of the websites, AM 1300 The Zone or Ticket 760, to win $1,000. And only 2 more shots at 820. It is your chance to win tickets to see NASCAR at Circuit of the Americas on May 23rd. These are primo tickets. They're like $125 each. You get like $250 worth of tickets. They're cool.
Oh yeah, and to be, it's the inaugural event for NASCAR at Coda. So you not only get to go, but you get to say that you were at the very first ever of hopefully many more to come. And I've seen, I got way more emails than I've ever gotten when I'm at work on the 2 days off. But some of those emails have been Dave sending me the info of our winners. So I love that people are calling in and getting these tickets and signing up for that newsletter to get that keyword that, of course, you need in order to call in and get those tickets.
Yes, and if you're new to this and you want to win these tickets, you do need to first subscribe to the Insider email newsletter, either at Ticket 760 or at AM 1300, the Zone's website. You get the keyword in your inbox in the afternoon, and then you use that keyword the next morning. So if for some reason you don't have it for today at 8:30, sign up for the email, and you'll be ready to go tomorrow. And some happy people winning those tickets. Last night, Shannon, the Spurs lose once again, and they lose once again big to the Utah Jazz, 126-94. Suddenly now, I was, if you would have asked me 4 days ago, what are the chances the Spurs are going to get into the play-in tournament at least and get the 10 seed at least, I would have said 80%. 75, 80%. Now, the Pelicans keep winning. The Pelicans have cut the Spurs lead over them to a game and a half. The Spurs have 7 games to play. The Pelicans have 6 games to play. I would now list the Spurs' chances, and the Spurs have a real tough schedule. And there's games like they close with 2 games against Phoenix, and everybody 2 weeks ago was going, by then Phoenix won't even care. Phoenix will be resting for Phoenix is now tied with the Utah Jazz, or I guess with the win last night, maybe the Jazz moved back ahead of them by a half a game. So they're battling. Yeah, the Suns lost. It's 1 game. So they're battling the Jazz for the top position and the number 1 seed in the West. So I would now say 55% chance the Spurs get the 10 slot and go into the postseason. It is getting very interesting for the Spurs in the final now 7 games of the regular season.
Yeah, and interesting that you were probably cheering for the Warriors last night.
Strangely.
We're playing pretty well.
Yeah.
Until the Pelicans ultimately came away with that win. But yeah, you always hate to be in that position where it's kind of out of your hands at that point. I mean, you can play as well as you can play, but if there's other teams, that are getting the job done as well, your position's a bit rocky. So
now the good news for the Spurs, 2 things, and we'll go to the contest here in a sec. The magic number remains at 5. So the Spurs have 7 games to play. The Pelicans have 6. Any combination of Spurs wins and Pelican losses that equal 5, Spurs are in the playoffs with at least the 10th seed. And the other good thing for the Spurs, if the Pelicans do tie the Spurs have the tiebreaker head-to-head because they won the season series 2-1 over the Pelicans. More to talk about NBA, Aaron Rodgers, NFL, Cowboys, but right now it is 6:20. So let's do our first contest of the day. We'll have a contest at 6:20, 7:20, and 8:20. 8:20 will be the NASCAR at Coda contest. But right now, listen to this. Listen for the keyword. Your shot at $1,000.
Right now, here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Deposit. That's deposit. Enter it now.
Deposit the keyword. Go to either AM 1300, the Zone's website, or Ticket 760's. Find it. It's easy to find. It'll pop up at you. Grand in your hand cash contest. Put in the keyword, and you got a shot at $1,000. Going to say a quick good morning to a bunch of people who just jumped in on Facebook Live as we stream live video, as always, on Ticket 760 and AM 1300, the Zone's Facebook pages. Laura Burris, who works at the San Antonio Food Bank, doing the work of angels. Good morning, Laura. Kevin Monk, Sam Tobias, Hector Gomez, Wes Perkins, and Clint Proctor, our 2 Texas Tech partisans. Alan Green, Anthony Del Toro, John Williams, Tracy Bogert. And this is, Shannon, one of the reasons I love our friends on Facebook Live. A lot of times they bring things up that either we haven't heard maybe, or maybe we didn't think of. Last night, John Williams, who joins us often from Dallas, sent me a message on Facebook. There's a great sports guy up in Dallas named Dale Hansen. He's one of my favorite local sportscasters in the country because he's fearless and courageous, and he'll say things about Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys that might not be popular to Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. but he pulls no punches. Apparently, Dale Hansen has said on his Dallas TV sports broadcast, he strongly believes that at the end of this NBA season, one Gregory Charles Popovich will retire. Now, we've had that thought before each of the last few seasons. Pop is 72. He is scheduled to coach the Team USA in the Summer Olympics in Tokyo this August. But we should probably, Shannon, as we watch these final 7 Spurs games and hopefully a play-in tournament into the playoffs, if you're a Spurs fan or if you're an NBA fan or a sports fan, you may be witnessing the final games. I hope not, but you may be witnessing the final games of Greg Popovich as head coach.
It's almost hard to imagine the NBA without him. And I feel like it's been that thing every year for the last couple of years, especially without, Manu and Tim and Tony of, he's done. He's done. He's done. No, this is going to be the year. So I don't know that it's too surprising that we're starting to hear those questions arise as where we are in the season. It's hard to imagine him A, walking away at all, but B, walking away after a season like this, where I think a lot of people feel like there's a lot left on the table. And there's a lot of movement that might be happening, with DeMar possibly going elsewhere. Okay, who do you bring in that, could force them to go one way or the other next season? And then he still has the Olympics, right, this summer.
Yeah,
and so
we hope.
Maybe the idea is he was just going to go win a gold medal and then walk away with that, which would be interesting too, that his, last ever coaching experience wouldn't be with the Spurs, but it would be with the national team that, I don't know, I don't know if there's going to be a Spur on that team. Maybe a former Spur.
Yeah, DeMar DeRozan has a shot. And former Spur, you mentioned Kawhi Leonard, I think, wants to play, which would be so weird given his relationship with the Spurs and Pop. But we had Taro Kotani on a couple of days ago. He's our favorite Spurs fan in Tokyo, Japan. And he even said, COVID is still raging in Japan, and it's not 100% that they might not just shut down the Olympics for a second straight year in Tokyo. And apparently people are saying if that happens, it's not coming back. Like it's done. Yeah. They're going to say close the book on the Tokyo Olympics if that happens.
Yeah, because we have the Winter Olympics
next
winter, which that in itself, I guess, would be in question too if you're going to shut down the Summer Olympics. I just hope they happen because I love the Olympics.
I love the Olympics too. I do. And we'll get into this. And I know we're up against the break, but if Pop walks away, and again, I don't want it to happen. I love the man and I love him as a coach for the Spurs. Becky Hammon, somebody else pointed out to me this week, Shannon, for some reason, we're seeing a lot of Becky Hammon in the media. She did a national interview on the Today Show within the last week with Hoda Kotb, and she
doesn't do that much, does she?
No. So we've been seeing her a lot, and you wonder if if there's some master plan we don't know about to introduce Becky Hammon to the nation and the world as if they don't already know her, but not everybody does. So there you go. All right. And I see Taro. I mentioned Taro. He's joining us on Facebook Live this morning from Tokyo, Japan. Good morning, Taro. Coming up, Shannon will tell us our sports poll of this Throwback Thursday. Speaking of Throwback Thursday, if you want to see Shannon and me and Dave Ayler and today's in-studio guest, Tanner Carlson, from way, way, way back on a Throwback Thursday, I actually had hair. There's a photo of me from 1980. I had a full head of hair. I was young. I had my whole future ahead of me. I wasn't bitter yet, like my coffee this morning. I'll get through it. Shannon Salty Sweeney is back. Dave Ayler wearing his St. Louis Cardinals t-shirt, supporting his favorite baseball team. We'll have to talk some baseball today. There was a no-hitter in baseball yesterday. We better talk about that. We will. Lots coming at you between now and 9. You're listening to the Chris Duel Show. Julio Reyes, good morning. Julio Reyes, one of the most prolific runners, track and field and road racing in the history of San Antonio. Tracy says Becky will be the next coach of the Spurs. I think she's the leader in the clubhouse. If you were going to bet money, She'd be your best bet, Tracy. I do believe. Oh, I wrote Friday yet ? Question mark on my little ID there. These Spurs games, and there was a 9:00 West Coast Spurs game on Monday night. They've played 3 in the last 4 as of last night. They play 5 in 7 nights this week. So, and according to Fitbit, in fact, I can show you, I think. Okay, I'm getting weird morning texts from my sister. What is that all about? Oh, I see what she's saying. Fitbit tracks your sleep. So last night, show you how much sleep I got. There it is. 2 hours and 43 minutes of sleep, up from the 2:28 I got on Monday night. Monday night, I got 2 hours and 28 minutes of sleep. And last night, 2 hours and 43 minutes of sleep. So if I seem punchy and sleep deprived, it's only because I'm punchy and sleep deprived. Thank you. It's coffee time. Caffeine, because management frowns upon crystal meth. I totally believe Becky's qualified, Tracy. Absolutely. As does Pop. Jason Garcia, good morning. Yeah, huge brawls. Yeah. That was wild.
Wow.
That's crazy. Jason Garcia writes, Dave, how are your Cardinals doing? My Red Sox have hit a bump in the road. It seems like the Cardinals are always, they're year in, year out. They're so stable and consistent. See, I should send these spots out if I have a sec. Where did they come from? Let's see, that's okay. Okay. There you go. Those are some nice morning jams for you. Submitted for your approval by Soundscape stylist Dave Ayler, wearing his St. Louis Cardinals baseball t-shirt. See, back in the day when you would say St. Louis Cardinals, Dave, you had to say, I'm talking about the baseball team, not the football team, because yes, the Arizona Cardinals back in the day were once the St. Louis Cardinals. That's real weird that you had a football team and a baseball team in St. Louis at the same time called the Cardinals. I just think that's a little weird.
When they were in St. Louis, to differentiate, the football team were called the Big Red.
I never knew that. That's like, Shannon, if we got a football team or a baseball team in San Antonio, what are we going to name them? Let's name them the Spurs.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the San Antonio Spurs, only they play football.
It sounds very collegiate. And in the age where everything is about marketing and new uniforms so we can turn over another profit.
Yeah.
Now you're getting people who go out and buy just one shirt for all, one size fits all for
But, as you say, it sounds very collegiate. And you're right. It's like, Texas Longhorns, baseball, football. I mean, everything under the Longhorn banner. In a weird way, as you say it, if a city chose to do that, I could, if they said, this is why we're doing it, we're going to name all our teams, because this is who we are. This is our identity. I could get behind it if you made a good and had a really good mascot / team name. Yeah.
But the fact that those Cardinals are now the Arizona Cardinals.
Yes.
Makes it sad now.
And that's just the worst name ever. And maybe someday we'll explore this topic. The Utah Jazz. I mean, they started in New Orleans, and it made total sense. They were the New Orleans Jazz, and they had Pete Maravich, who was one of the greatest basketball players, or maybe was the greatest Shaq went there, out of LSU. So they play, a team in New Orleans called the Jazz, and you move them to Salt Lake City, Utah. And I've never been to Salt Lake City, and we had Bill Schoening on yesterday, Shannon, and he shocked me by telling me one of the greatest Italian restaurants in America is Salt Lake City. Apparently some restaurateur who was like a great Italian chef said, I want to take a restaurant into a major city that does not have a great Italian restaurant. So he picked Salt Lake City and went there. So I didn't ever think Salt Lake City had a great Italian restaurant. So in other words, maybe they do have a great, bustling, hip jazz scene, but I got a feeling they don't.
I've been to Salt Lake several times to go skiing. Never noticed any jazz. And I think, you said they're from New Orleans. The Pelicans obviously just pretty recently changed their name. And then
True.
Charlotte has changed their name. Why have they not changed their name?
I agree.
That random and wild and out there that they're like, let's just keep it.
Yeah, they should change it. Do something indigenous to Utah or Salt Lake City. So now, no jazz scene, or I'm sure there's a minor jazz scene, but I hear the Mormon Tabernacle Choir just rocks. They're good. I'm not dissing. Don't jump all over me. I am not dissing the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. They're quite good, and I have no singing abilities at all. I would get cut on the first day from my tryout for the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, but I'm just saying. All right. It's a weird morning. I told the people on Facebook Live this, Shannon, but for people on the radio, as of last night, the Spurs played 3 games in 4 nights. And as you know, I'm part of the Spurs radio broadcast with Bill Schoening. So, and then Monday night's game started at 9:10. I got home like at 12:30 or 1 in the morning. So Fitbit says on Monday night, I got 2 hours and 28 minutes of sleep. And then I noticed from Fitbit last night, I got a whopping, I think 2 hours and 53 minutes of sleep. So I am rocking with the sleep deprivation. So if I seem weird and punchy, and I know I always seem weird and punchy, but I'm a little extra weird and punchy this morning. Okay. We will cleanse the palate here. I love that we're doing this. We've been doing this for a couple of weeks now. And it's been eye-opening for me because we scour sports stories and actual news stories for something positive every morning because there's not enough of it. And somehow we find something every morning. And Shannon has found this one. It is time for our high five play of the day. And I envy Shannon because she's been to High Five, 2 locations in Austin. So, and I'm going, next time I go to Austin, I'm going to High Five, probably with Shannon. We'll probably be escorted out by security after drinking heavily and throwing axes.
Yeah.
But tell us about High Five.
Yes, High Five, 2 Austin area locations, as Chris mentioned, axe throwing a huge feature of both locations. Bowling, laser tag, arcade games out the wazoo, and fantastic food and food specials like today. If you didn't get enough margaritas yesterday for Cinco de Mayo, head over to High Five today, where margaritas are just $5 along with half price axe throwing and 3 for $5 sliders. And today's High Five, it's going to be hard to high five him because the dude is over 7 feet tall. But we're giving one to Taco Fall, who made an impact for the Celtics last night. Yes, the Celtics did win handedly against the Magic, 132-96. But Taco Fall got 5 whole minutes of action, and within those 5 minutes, had 2 points,
Woo!
3 rebounds, and 4 blocks. To put that into perspective, Orlando had 7 blocks the whole game. Boston had 9 blocks the whole game. 4 of those, Taco Fall, 5 minutes of action.
I dig it.
He's totally the kid, like kids in middle school and high school who are really tall, and all the coaches are like, "Why don't you play basketball?"
Yeah.
And most of them end up saying no because they just don't want to, and that's totally fine. He, I guess, was swayed enough to play basketball, and look at him now. Just makes you smile.
Yeah,
So
7'5", yeah.
The highest of high fives to Mr. Taco Fall today, as he's probably high on life after an incredible performance. I hope he starts getting more minutes because I think they were kind of garbage time minutes last night.
Yeah.
With the score being so lopsided, but dude contributed.
I pulled up his Wikipedia, and by the way, there is a Texas connection to Taco Fall. He went to 2 high schools, one in Florida, but the first high school in Houston called Jamie's House Charter School. So, and he first played organized basketball in Houston, Texas, and trained originally with Hakeem Olajuwon. He's from Senegal. He's 25. And I've always, when I heard the name Taco Fall, again, I like anything taco. I love Taco Tuesday. So I thought, all right, just because of the name, I like Taco Fall. He might be on my all NBA name team, along with Duncan Robinson, who plays for the Miami Heat. For obvious reasons, I like Duncan Robinson. But I'm looking on Wikipedia, Shannon, his full name, and he's from Senegal. And I'm sure I will mispronounce some of these, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words in his full name. Ihaji Taco Saraguin Diop Fall. Ihaji Taco Saraguin Diop Fall. If you ever see him on the street, Shannon, like I like to say, Gregory Charles Popovich, because I know his full name, you can address Taco Fall by his full name.
I'm going to have that written down on my hand just in case I ever do come across him.
So there's that.
I'd rather have a Taco Fall on my team than a Taco Charlton, that's for sure.
Oh, I had such high hopes for Taco Charlton when the Cowboys drafted him. I thought, man, he's going to be doing Taco Cabana commercials or Torchy's Taco. It's perfect. No. I wonder, has there ever been maybe it's the curse of the tacos. If Taco Fall does not have a great career in the NBA, and we know Taco Charlton did not in the NFL, do we know another athlete named Taco? I don't think so.
I don't know, but I would say Taco Fall has already surpassed expectations.
Yes.
When he started, and that, he wasn't really seen to be this giant NBA impact player, and he's made himself a guy who gets on the court and puts things up like 4 blocks in 5 minutes.
Last year in 2020, he made the NBA G League all defensive team. And that's nothing to sneeze at. A lot of really good players have come out of the G League and gone on to big careers in the NBA. So
there's a photo of him from last night where he's standing on the ground and his hands are touching the rim.
Wow.
Which is hard to imagine.
And he's 25. I mean, if in the next, before 30, if in the next 5 years at age 20, if this game continues to come to him, and if he continues to upgrade his skills, I mean, he could be a beast. He could be a big, bad guy. Yeah, I'd like to see it. All right, Shannon, we talked, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. The Aaron Rodgers story, and he's plays into our poll today. The latest we hear yesterday from Aaron Rodgers that two things. In text messages, Aaron Rodgers is referring to and I don't have his name in front of me, it's an odd, exotic name, the general manager of the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers refers to him as Jerry Krause. And Jerry Krause, for those of us, and most of us did, watch the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance. Jerry Krause is the guy who tried to take all the credit, not all of it, tried to take a lot of credit for building the Chicago Bulls, and to his credit, did sign a lot of key players. But Michael Jordan sees him as the guy who drove him away from basketball originally to go play baseball, and who drove him away from the Chicago Bulls. So Aaron Rodgers refers to the Packers general manager as Jerry Krause as a slam on him. And now we're hearing that there's some free agents thinking in this offseason of signing with the Green Bay Packers. And apparently Aaron Rodgers, according to sources, is texting those players going, well, come on to Green Bay if you want, but I'm just letting you know I won't be there. So that's kind of what
feels like tampering.
That's tampering, and it's sabotage. It kind of ticks me off. I once had a radio kind of a participant, kind of a co-host guy. I won't say his name, but we once brought a guest into the studio who he didn't like. And so Rubens, I accidentally just said his name. Bob, his name was Bob. Bob then started in the middle of the show, trying to screw with the show. He was turning this guy's mic off, and then I would throw to him for some reaction, and he wouldn't speak. And so he was on the show. He was part of the show. He was getting paid by the radio station. And because he didn't like the guest, he decided he was going to make the show sound worse. So he was sabotaging the show. It's like, dude, you can have a beef, but it's like Aaron Rodgers. If you're going to play for the Green Bay Packers, you don't sabotage them. And, oh, by the way, on the way out the door, it's not a good idea to sabotage them either. So I'm with Aaron Rodgers on a lot of these things, but when you sabotage your own organization, especially while you're still there, that's a little ridiculous.
I mean, you think of all the guys that have gone on to do great things after their NFL careers, even just professional athletic careers, and most of them get those jobs based on character and merit, and he's showing his right now, and it's not great.
Which leads us, and I was going to use the term diva this morning in the poll question, Shannon, but for the last second, I thought more people will relate to the term crybaby. So you could replace crybaby with diva, or diva with crybaby. We went with crybaby. Shannon, it leads us to this morning's poll question.
Yeah, asking who is the biggest sports crybaby. Our options today: Tom Brady, LeBron James, Aaron Rodgers, and other. You tell us, because sports go far and wide, so many options out there. Of course, Aaron Rodgers a hot topic right now, but currently no votes for him. Most votes leaning towards LeBron with 80% and Tom Brady with 20%. This is a hard one. It's a great question because there are so many.
Yeah.
LeBron, I think, is an easy one because there are so many pictures specifically of him in the finals, and JR and the face and the pointing to the court and why did you shoot the ball?
Yeah.
And then Tom Brady, as we know, is can be a little bit of a crybaby, but he's also got so many rings, so it's hard to say that he was in the wrong at any of those points.
True.
Aaron Rodgers, with everything he's going on now, I kind of think of Cristiano Ronaldo. Because he's the ultimate flopper, and we've seen him actually cry on the field of play so many times. I can't think of another player that hasn't done that. I mean, maybe they've cried, but not in the public space.
That's a great point.
When I think of crybaby, I take it literally, and I go Cristiano Ronaldo.
Well, that's a good one. And you bring up just another side topic. The famous line from A League of Their Own by Tom Hanks, "There's no crying in baseball." I wonder, you think of in sports when the athlete on the field or on the court or on the ice actually cried. What comes to mind, I remember Tanya Harding in one of the Olympic trials. I remember her lifting her skate onto the table of the judge and complaining that something was wrong with her skate. And, there were tears there. You mentioned Ronaldo. That would be interesting. Now, obviously, tears of joy.
Yes.
We've seen a lot of tears of joy when you win championships, and that's cool.
With crying tears of sadness
No.
either. But when you're a guy like Cristiano Ronaldo who's doing it after flopping a million times. It's like crying wolf at that point.
Yes.
How about Terrell Owens? That's my quarterback, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
T.O. And that was such a weird, that's my quarterback moment.
Terrell Owens, who, by the way, had said his favorite team that he's ever played for was the Eagles. So
Which
I don't believe that's your quarterback.
And speaking of sabotage, I mean, he was undermining Donovan McNabb. He was publicly saying, while he was still an Eagle, Donovan McNabb is gutless. He's not a winner. He doesn't try hard. He's not a good. I mean, awful. Just god awful.
So who's your vote here?
It's hard not to
have another.
I don't really have. I got to go LeBron. And you're right. There's something about Brady. Yeah, Brady's a diva. He's high maintenance. He complains a lot. You do see him jawboning on the sidelines, but I got to go LeBron. But it's interesting because you just said, Brady would give him a pass because of all of his rings. LeBron's got a lot of rings too. We don't give him a pass for some reason. So that's kind of interesting. But Aaron Rodgers, keep it up, and you will ascend on the vote, I'm sure. It's like every day there's new Aaron Rodgers revelations. I'm sure there will be more today. Okay, coming up, we will. There was a no-hitter in baseball. We got to talk about that. And amazing how long it's been since this team had a no-hitter solo by a pitcher, and even like a combined no-hitter. We'll talk about that. Dallas Cowboys talk with Tanner Carlson in the 8 o'clock hour. Shannon's Salty Shakedown coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, along with This Day in Sports History, sports birthdays, and more. On a Thursday, we begin the weekend. You can join us. Thanks for hanging out. It's the Chris Duel Show. Beth Settle, good morning. Carl Fisher, good morning. Luisa Alanis, good morning. Lucinda Sullivan with the coffee emoji, good morning. Jason Paniagua. Carl Fisher likes my t-shirt. It was actually a conscious choice on Throwback Thursday. I thought, what's more throwback than Blockbuster Video? Okay, so I sent that email. What else do I have to do? Do I want to edit these? I had to come in early this morning and record a bunch of commercial spots. What is this one? This is QC Kinetics. How long is this? $101. These computers drive me crazy. Stop it. You know how pain creeps up on you, starting with discomforts and inflammation. It just gets worse and worse. Now you hurt all the time. You're afraid of surgery. You don't want to take any more medications. Stop right there. You have another choice for relief. It's QC Kinetics. Chris Duel here. Listen, if you or someone you love is in pain, you need to know about QC Kinetics. They help jumpstart the healing process without surgery or drugs. They use powerful, non-invasive, regenerative cell treatments so the body heals itself. The best news? Patients who thought they'd never see an end to pain are telling everyone they know about the results they got at QC Kinetics. So maybe you strained a muscle lifting something, twisted a knee or ankle, exercising, or over time you notice joint aches and pains? Check out QC Kinetics regenerative cell solutions that go to work relieving the pain with treatments right there in the office. The consultation's free, so call today. QC Kinetics in Hollywood Park and Westover Hills, 210-571-0318. That's 571-0318. Right. File, save as. There it is. Okay. Clint Proctor says 19 days of school left. Amen. Tracy Bogert, you got me on who that. I didn't mean to say his name. I blurted it out. But yeah, you go way back if you remember him. I was not happy with him that day. All right. Let's see if I can do some more of this. Pain is a bear. It'll creep up on you, starting with discomforts and inflammation. It gets worse and worse. You hurt all the time. You're afraid of surgery. You don't want to take any more medications. Stop right there. You got another choice for relief. It's QC Kinetics. Chris Duel here. Listen, if you or someone you love is in pain, you need to know about QC Kinetics. They help jumpstart the healing process without surgery or drugs. They use powerful, non-invasive regenerative cell treatments so the body heals itself. The best news, patients who thought they'd never see an end to pain, they're telling everybody they know about the great results at QC Kinetics. So maybe you strained a muscle lifting something or twisted a knee or ankle, or over time you notice joint aches and pains. Check out QC Kinetics Regenerative Cell Solutions. They go to work relieving pain with treatments right in the office. The consultation's free, so call today. QC Kinetics, Hollywood Park in Westover Hills, 210-571-0318. 571-0318. Call now, 571-0318. Jason says, my daughter finishes her freshman year in college tomorrow and will be home from St. Louis on Sunday. Very cool, Jason. That's got to be a big return after a complete change in her life and yours when she goes away for a freshman year. Let me see here.
This is the Chris Duel Show. Now, Chris Duel.
Welcome in on a Thursday, May 6th. It's the Chris Duel Show with Shannon Salty Sweeney, and Shannon is back. Dave Ayler on board again. We love having Dave on as soundscape stylist. We had a no-hitter in baseball, a brawl in the National Hockey League. The Spurs lose again. More Aaron Rodgers revelations. A Cowboy veteran cut. Lots of stuff happened in the last 21 hours or so since we've been on the air with you yesterday. Welcome back in. Good to have you. Just a couple of things you may already know. We stream live video on AM 1300 The Zone and Ticket 760's Facebook page. I don't give the phone number out enough, but I'm working on it. If you want to join us, whenever we don't have a guest, and we've only got one guest this morning, that'll be an hour from now. Tanner Carlson will come in, talk Dallas Cowboys. He had a prophecy, by the way, earlier in the week. He named a Cowboy who he said would be probably cut, and boom, within 24 hours, that dude was cut. So Tanner's going to join us at 8. But other than that, when we have a segment and there's not a guest and you want to jump in on the phone lines, we welcome your phone calls, 800-707-9760, 800-707-9760. And oh, by the way, you will want that phone number at 820, because if you know the keyword for the NASCAR at Circuit of the Americas big race coming to the Austin area on May 23rd, you can use that phone number and that keyword to score some primo tickets. So Shannon, you have been out there to Circuit of the Americas, and you have told us be prepared to do some walking. Apparently, some big, wide open spaces.
Oh yeah, the track itself is over 4 miles, I think. So
My goodness.
you've got to be prepared. If I think the tickets we're giving away are seats. So
Sweet.
you'd be considered one of the lucky ones to sit there and enjoy a certain section of the track. But if you've never been and you are interested in checking out everything it has to offer, it is quite a hike to get all the way around.
And you got 2 more shots here on this show, today at 8:20 and tomorrow at 8:20. And it's a little different the way you get those tickets. You need to subscribe to the Insider newsletter at either AM 1300 The Zone or Ticket 760. And in your inbox later today will be tomorrow's keyword that you call in at 8:20. We take the 5th caller to get to Dave, and you are good to go. One of the, and I know we're bouncing around a lot, but it's kind of what we do. But Shannon, one more Aaron Rodgers thing. We talked a little Aaron Rodgers in the 6 o'clock hour. Somebody made a great point who said, if you look at his life, when Aaron Rodgers is done with you, Aaron Rodgers is done with you. He no longer talks to his parents. He's done with them. He's got a couple of brothers he no longer talks with. He's done with them. In relationships, we've seen when it ends, it ends. If there ever was a quarterback who, once he made up his mind, I'm done with the Green Bay Packers, if there was ever a quarterback you probably could not change his mind to come back and play nice, it might be Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it might be hopeless on the part of the Green Bay Packers, if for no other reason. This is kind of who he is. Once he moves on, he moves on.
But where does he go is what I'm having a hard time trying to figure out. If they didn't make the move prior to the draft, why does that landscape look better now?
Well, one thing I've heard this week was the Packers will take a significantly lighter cap hit if they wait until after June 1st, like in the millions. They'll save millions against the cap. So there's that. And then if you read the tea leaves, the Denver Broncos had a high draft pick. I think they were 8 or 9 when all those quarterbacks were there, and the Denver Broncos certainly need a quarterback. I heard one guy on national radio yesterday speculate that the deal's already done. The NFL can't announce this deal until after June 1st because that's when the Packers want it and can save money. And even if the league knows, it's just bad for business if they announce that. And this does happen sometimes before a trading window opens up. Some teams can make deals like informally or unofficially without signing a contract, but a deal's a deal in a lot of eyes. So, Denver needs a quarterback. Green Bay probably would not want to trade him to the NFC. I've been talking to you about the New Orleans Saints would be an automatic Super Bowl favorite out of the NFC if they got Aaron Rodgers. I think San Francisco, even though they did draft quarterback Trey Lance, if I'm Kyle Shanahan and San Francisco and I can get Aaron Rodgers for 3 years, it's like, Trey Lance, we love you. Enjoy the bench, but we're going to bring in a guy who's a surefire Hall of Famer who can get us to the Super Bowl. And I heard this morning, it wasn't our good friend Clay Travis. He was on vacation, but I think it was Jonas Knox, the guy in for Clay Travis this morning, saying the Washington football team. There's a team with a great defense that won the NFC East by default because everybody else sucked. But if they could bring in an Aaron Rodgers, he would upgrade their offense to go with a very good Ron Rivera defense. But again, though, NFC. So I think, the Packers, I believe, would rather trade him out of the conference and not have to face the dude and be shown up perhaps in the playoffs by him.
Could you imagine him going to the Broncos and not producing? Because he has to face Patrick Mahomes twice a year.
Ooh, yeah.
Chargers QB was offensive rookie of the year last year, and he's, got some areas to improve upon. But what if he were to go out there and beat Aaron Rodgers twice in a year?
Yeah.
Mr. Justin, long hair to a shaved head, going from a 21-year-old to an 18-year-old real quick. I just, that narrative would frighten me if I'm Aaron Rodgers, because at that point it's put up or shut up. especially for the Broncos, who have had an awful time at drafting QBs in very recent years. And then, they bring in Peyton Manning and, oh my gosh, we won a Super Bowl. And now we're just back to the same thing where we just can't find our guy. Let's see if we can create some more Peyton-like magic with Aaron Rodgers. But like I just said, by the way, that guy, Patrick Mahomes, is here now.
Yeah.
And he'll have something to say about it. You could end up being in the similar situation you were this year where you're in the championship game but don't make it to the Super Bowl. And I don't know, would you rather make it to the championship game and lose to not go to the Super Bowl and then lose? Or would you rather at least get to the Super Bowl and then lose?
Good questions.
I'd rather get to the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And you're right. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is going to be a beast in the AFC if he stays healthy for years to come. So, but as you mentioned, the Denver Broncos, it's kind of the same template that it hasn't worked since they did it with Peyton Manning. Here's a veteran quarterback, had won a Super Bowl, surefire Hall of Famer, and even Peyton Manning's skills had really diminished by the time he went to Denver.
That injury.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers' skills don't seem to be diminishing yet. I think he's 37. So it's like, John Elway and the Broncos tried they tried Brock Osweiler. They even tried Flacco. So you could make the argument they tried that with Flacco and it didn't work. But I don't think Flacco is in the league of Peyton Manning or Aaron Rodgers. So going to be very, very interesting to see what plays out. But the smart money now is the Packers would not deal him at least until June 1st because it'll save them a lot of money. I do want to mention this, Shannon and Dave. And Dave, you're the resident hockey fan among us, being a St. Louis Blues fan. A wild multiple brawl encounter last night at Madison Square Garden between the New York Rangers and the Washington Capitals. There were 72 penalty minutes assessed in the first 4 minutes and 14 seconds of the game. They were fighting left and right. All kind of, and apparently, and I forget which is which. I heard the story. One of these teams, one of the players hurt another player in a previous game, and he only got like a slap on the wrist. So I think it was the Rangers originally that were angry at the Capitals. But a total of 100 penalty minutes combined were assessed in the first period alone. And Dave, I'll go to you first for reaction on this because you're a hockey fan. And I know fighting is part of hockey, and that's a thing, but, I mean, this was a little bit ridiculous and over the top. What did you think about this?
Well, fighting is out of hockey now. Hockey's been done with fighting for quite a few years now. And so this was pretty unique because you had so many at one time, and there's hardly ever any fights in hockey anymore.
Okay.
And especially right when you knew both teams were going to go at each other because they've been jawing each other. I think they were messing with each other during warm-up. And right when the face-off started, all six linemen dropped the gloves and started going at it.
Wow.
So they were just waiting to start something. But and at one point, each team had about 6 players in the penalty box, and I think the penalty box can only seat about 3. So 3 were staying at a stand, and 3 were able to sit, I think. But it's 72 minutes in the first less than 5 minutes of the game. That's a lot.
Now, if you hate the other team and you've got issues with the other team and you want to physically fight the other team, why do you wait? If you're on the ice together in warmups and you're jawing at each other in warmups, I just find it interesting why they didn't start slugging each other in warmups. Why do you wait? Okay, let's wait until the game begins. Then let's throw our gloves down and beat the living tar out of each other. It just seems so weird to me, not being a hockey guy and not being, raised watching hockey in South Texas.
It's happened fights, in the warmups. It's rare, but then you get into suspensions because it's outside the game and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So if you start doing it in the game, all you get is 5 minutes in a penalty box and maybe a game suspension if you do something really bad. But you always do it in the game. It's an unwritten rule. You don't take it out in the parking lot. You keep it on the ice.
That's amazing.
Are
Shannon?
players, are they wannabe football players?
wannabe
Because
football players.
you see these hockey players with all their garb on, and you're like, oh, these are really big guys, and they take it all off, and they're like these little stick men. And it's like maybe they wished they were big enough to be in football where they could be that aggressive with others and not be punished for it.
Having played hockey, no, we've never wanted to play football.
Oh man, you're serious.
Yeah.
So you played. So this is bigger now. You've played hockey, so you're like
high school.
you're part of the culture, man.
Yeah, when I was high school, I played 3 years.
Nice, very cool. I better not mess with you, man. You just throw the gloves down.
Throw the gloves down.
And I did get in a few fights in my time. I was a big hothead back then.
But again though, and that was always and when I was a kid, I saw the movie Slapshot, and I did. Hockey in San Antonio over the years, the Iguanas, the Dragons, the Rampage. I've seen some hockey, and oh, by the way, hockey in person is so much cooler than hockey on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Yet when you see it in person, you go, "Oh, now I see why people love this." But it's so true, Dave, and you got into fights that unlike basketball, baseball, football, and yeah, there are scrums in every sport, but hockey it's almost like, all right, there's two things you do in hockey. One, you play hockey, and second to that, we fight. It almost seems like that's such a part of the hockey culture.
Well, for a long, long time, for decades, it was just part of the game. And then it started getting on national TV, and Gary Bettman, the commissioner, started, we have to be family friendly. And they kind of wussed it down.
They wussed it down.
So they need to bring back the fighting.
I feel like that's people who watch racing, right? There's people that watch just to see a crash, which is horrible. I have to feel like there's people that watch hockey just to see fights.
Yeah, I've seen fans in stands just yelling for fights.
That's crazy. We'll talk more. We got to talk about the no-hitter in baseball yesterday as well. So much going on in the world of sports. But it's 7:20. We do contests this week in particular on the 20s at 6:20, 7:20, and 8:20. Don't forget 8:20, an hour from now, your chance to win primo seats to NASCAR at Circuit of the Americas in Austin. But right now it's the Grand in Your Hand cash contest. You're going to get a keyword. Then you go to the website of the radio station you are listening to, either AM 1300 The Zone or Ticket 760. Pop in that keyword where you see Grand in Your Hand, and you're in the running for $1,000. Here it comes.
Right now, here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Work. That's work. Enter it now.
Work, work, work. That's the keyword. I once, Shannon, one of the biggest brawls I ever saw in sports, believe it or not, was at a Spurs game. I think it was a playoff game between the Spurs and the New York Nets, led by Dr. J. Julius Erving. And it was, I believe, on Easter Sunday, 1976 at the Hemisphere Arena. And they were in the playoffs, and anybody who was there and saw this thing, a brawl broke out, and it lasted like 6 minutes. And you think about a brawl breaking out in sports, 30 seconds is big. Nolan Ryan grabbing Robin Ventura and hitting him in the face and on the head was only like 12 seconds max. It was a brawl, and there was a former Spur, and in fact, my favorite Spur of all time. People don't even remember him anymore. He was an original Spur named Rich Jones. And Rich Jones was kind of the goon for the Spurs. Back in the ABA when they would have fighting, if there was ever a fight, Rich Jones was the first guy to get. He was 6'8", 235 out of Memphis State. Rich Jones would just wail on people. But now Rich Jones was traded from the Spurs to the New York Nets for Billy Paul, to Larry Keenan, and Mike Gale. And so this brawl broke out, but it was like little mini brawls all over the basketball court. And it was mainly Rich Jones going to different clusters of Spurs and beating the crap out of them. He'd go to George Karl, who later became a legendary NBA coach. He'd hit George Karl a few times, and he'd go over and go after James Silas. And it went on. I've never seen anything like it. And I was there in the Hemisphere Arena with my friend Steve Duracco, just jaw dropped. And then what happened, though, at the end of that, the head coach of the Spurs, Bob Bass, chastised Spurs fans for not jumping in and intervening. It's like, yeah, I'm supposed to go out and like go after 6'8", 235-pound Rich Jones while he's beating the crap out of George Karl? I don't think so, Bob Bass.
Yeah, you're telling me this, and I'm like, for that long, I'm surprised others didn't come flying in from the stands to partake.
Nobody did. And it is. You would think Texas, Cowboys, brawlers, people, nobody did. We were just there. And again, I was 76. I was 15 years old and weighed about 140 pounds.
Could you imagine if there were cell phones then? With the
Oh, God. It was so amazing. And some people old enough still remember it, but that was the most amazing. And on TV and even last night's brawl in Madison Square Garden, the one in the Hemisphere Arena, New York Nets versus San Antonio Spurs in April of 1976 was like amazing. So Shannon, all right, Dave is like hardcore hockey. I'm, very, very mild hockey as far as a fan. With fighting like this at Madison Square Garden, what do you think the league should do? I mean, it made the news. It got us talking hockey.
Yeah, encourage it because hockey is so far down on the radar, particularly in the South, but even more so, everywhere else. The NFL leagues, college football leagues, NBA leagues, MLB, which we'll get to eventually because there wasn't a fantastic no-hitter, but I just, they need more of it, to be honest with you. As long as no one's like really, really getting hurt, then that's fine. I think when you sign to play hockey, you're automatically saying, I'm fine without having these teeth. That just seems, it always shocks me when you see like them mess with their flippers and you're like, oh, yeah, those look so real.
Well, and every hockey team used to have a goon. It was like you'd have skilled hockey players, and then we're going to sign this guy.
I don't actually play. I'm just, the punching bag.
Those players could barely even skate. Some of them could barely even skate, and they just charge into people.
Wow.
And just pummel people.
See, I'm kind of with Shannon.
And you always protect your goal scorer. Like Wayne Gretzky, he was never a fighter. He always had Paul Coffey fighting for him.
Good point. See, Dave, I think Shannon's onto something. I mean, fighting has been part of the hockey culture, and here we are talking about it, and people are going on YouTube today who might not be hockey fans watching video footage of the brawl last night at Madison Square Garden. Maybe, Dave, it's time for hockey to embrace fighting once again.
Jason Paniagua just said Ty Domi. Ty Domi was his favorite goon.
Wow.
Played for the Maple Leafs.
People have their favorite goons. There's another topic someday, Shannon.
Forget a shootout at the end of matches to break the
tie. Have a fight?
Yeah,
just drop the gloves and go for it.
Yeah, last man standing. That
there
team
you go.
I like it. All right, as Shannon mentioned, and I swear to God, we're going to get to it. There was a no-hitter in baseball yesterday. It was pretty cool. And you look at the numbers, how long it's been for this team. It was pretty historic. We will get into it, I promise. Shannon's Salty Shakedown is coming up in the next segment. This day in sports history, sports birthdays, and more. Tanner Carlson going to jump in here just after 8 o'clock, talk about his prophecy. He named it. He spoke it into existence. And the man he said the Cowboys would cut, they cut him 24 hours later. We'll talk about that. And don't forget the contest at 8:20, your chance to win the tickets to see NASCAR at Circuit of the Americas. That's coming your way as well. We are with you till 9. She is Shannon Salty Sweeney. She is back. Former hockey brawler and goon for his high school hockey team, or not. Dave Ayler. I'm Chris. It's the Chris Duel Show. All right. Some copy here somewhere. That was cool music. Jeff Garcia in here. Hey, Jeff. Do you remember the brawl in the Hemisphere Arena between John Sally and Frank Brikowski? Yes. Sally choked Frank as they were falling out of bounds. Yeah. Again, though, and Jeff, you're going to have to, because you write a lot about the Spurs. We got to find some people who were there for that 1976 Easter brawl between the Spurs and the New York Nets. It was mind blowing. All right, I got to edit 2 more spots here. Nothing like multitasking. Okay, so this one is 102. My God, that's long. Don't do that to me. This computer really doesn't like me. It's very ornery. I'm trying to edit a commercial that has to be 60 seconds, and it came in at 102. So I go through and cut out my breaths, and this computer keeps, when I try to make an edit, and there it goes again. When I try to make an edit, stop it. It goes to another window. Pain can be so awful, it creeps up on you, starting with discomfort, inflammation, and it gets worse and worse until you hurt all the time. You're afraid of surgery. You don't want to take any more heavy medications. Stop right there. You have another choice for relief. It's QC Kinetics. Chris Duel here. Listen, if you or someone you love is in pain, you need to know about QC Kinetics. They help jumpstart the healing process without surgery or drugs. They use powerful, non-invasive regenerative cell treatments so the body heals itself. The best news, patients who thought they'd never see an end to pain are telling everyone they know about the great results at QC Kinetics. So maybe you strained a muscle lifting something, twisted a knee or ankle, or just over time noticed joint aches and pains. Check out QC Kinetics Regenerative Cell Solutions that go to work relieving pain with treatments right in the office. The consultation's free, so call today. QC Kinetics in Hollywood Park and Westover Hills, 210-571-0318. That's 571-0318. Don't wait, call 571-0318. All right, 3 down, 1 to go. This computer's driving me crazy. Come on. Pain creeps up on you, starting with discomfort, some inflammation. It gets worse and worse until you hurt all the time. You're afraid of surgery and don't want to take any more heavy medications. Stop right there. You have another choice for relief. It's QC Kinetics. Chris Duel here. Listen, if you or someone you love is in pain, you need to know about QC Kinetics. They help jumpstart the healing process without surgery or drugs. They use powerful, non-invasive, regenerative cell treatments so the body heals itself. The best news, patients who thought they'd never see an end to pain are telling everybody they know about the great results at QC Kinetics. So maybe you strained a muscle lifting something, twisted a knee or ankle, or just over time noticed joint aches and pains? Check out QC Kinetics, regenerative cell solutions that go to work relieving pain with treatments right in the office. The consultation's free, so call today. QC Kinetics in Hollywood Park and Westover Hills, 210-571-0318. That's 571-0318. Don't wait, call 571-0318. Here we come. Chris Duel Show with Shannon Salty Sweeney. It's good hockey brawl music. I can see a hockey team coming out to that. Dave Ayler. Yeah.
It's always good to hear Rob Zombie. He started a few fights, I'm sure.
Yeah, haven't heard a lot of Rob Zombie on this program, so thank you very much for that. It is Thursday, May 6th. So a quick reminder that contest coming up, your chance to win tickets to the NASCAR Cup Series Echo Park Automotive Texas Grand Prix. It's going to be May 23rd. Primo tickets pair given away today at 8:20. Listen carefully. We'll tell you when to call in. Dave will take the fifth caller and award them tickets. We'll do it again tomorrow at 8:20 as well. Coming up in a moment, Shannon's Salty Shakedown. But first, how about this day in sports history? May 6th, 1915. Future Baseball Hall of Fame slugger Babe Ruth hits his first Major League Baseball home run. He also pitched 12 innings that day in the Boston Red Sox 4-3 extra innings loss to the New York Yankees. A lot of people forget Babe Ruth was also a pitcher. That's crazy. This day in 1954, English athlete Roger Bannister becomes the first to run a sub 4-minute mile. He ran it in 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds at Iffley Road Track in Oxford. On this day in 1982, Seattle Mariners pitcher Gaylord Perry becomes the 15th pitcher in Major League Baseball to win 300 games. Dave Ayler, do you know what Gaylord Perry was known for, what his big reputation was? A little before your time, but I remember him when I was a kid.
Was it at Scuffing the Baseball?
Yeah, spitball and scuffing the baseball. He was like the king of the spitball. Batters would complain to the umps. They'd charge him sometimes, and they liked like on the top of his cap, the bill of his cap, he'd have all kinds of like Vaseline up there. And so he'd reach up and grab some on his thumb from the top of his cap and put the Vaseline all over the.
And he used to keep an emery board in his back pocket.
Yeah.
He tried to throw away when he was being searched on the mound one time.
Yeah, he had all kinds of tricks. And it's so amazing. I mean, you could say Gaylord Perry cheated. You could. He was doing things outside the rules. And yet people are angry at the Astros. Come on, Yankee fans. Finally, it's a hockey story, Dave. Donut Gate happened on this day in 1988. New Jersey Devils coach Jim Schoenfeld told referee Don Koharski to, quote, "Eat another donut, you fat pig." And he was suspended for saying, "Eat another donut, you fat pig," to the referee. Nice.
But if he would have gotten in a fight, he would only got 5 minutes in the box.
Exactly. You can't call a ref a fat pig. Come on. Or is it? There's no manners in hockey. All right, that's it. Now, how about some sports birthdays? Yesterday, Shannon, you missed it yesterday. Like the worst birthdays ever. Like nobody.
They had to make room for Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, you're right.
I guess margaritas don't induce labor.
I guess not. You would think, but we got some big names today, though, including my favorite baseball player ever. Starting with another baseball player born on this day in 1931. Say hey, Willie Mays, Baseball Hall of Fame center fielder, 24-time Major League Baseball All-Star, 12-time Gold Glove winner, 660 career home runs, National League MVP in 54 and 65, played for the Giants and the Mets. Willie Mays, born this day in Westfield, Alabama. Born on this day in 1937, American boxer Reuben Hurricane Carter, who was jailed on a murder conviction, but it was later overturned. He got out of jail. After 19 years in jail, Reuben Hurricane Carter, born in Clifton, New Jersey on this day in 1937. He died in 2014. Two more, born on this day in 1985. Some say he should be the MVP this year of the NBA. Chris Paul, born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. In 1985, he also went to Wake Forest like Tim Duncan did. And finally, born on this day in 1990, my favorite baseball player, move over Johnny Bench, who was my favorite baseball player when I was a kid, till I met him in person, and he was a total jerk to me. So now my favorite baseball player is playing right now, Jose Altuve. Hurts my throat. Jose Altuve, born in Maracay, Venezuela on this day in 1990. Happy birth. I should have worn, I got a number 27, Jose Altuve.
Ring.
I got a ring. I got his ring. I got his championship. That's how much of a fan I am. I love Jose Altuve. They said he was too short. He's listed at 5'6". People who've stood next to him say he's really like 5'4". And they multiple times they wouldn't even let him try out for baseball because they said you're too short. You'll never make it in the big leagues. And Jose Altuve gets the last laugh.
I'm all for having more short guys in professional sports.
Yes.
Me being only 5'7" on a good day.
See, short guys and old guys. That's why I'm a Tom Brady fan now. Like, I relate to shortness and oldness and lack of coordination, bitterness and sleep deprivation and all that stuff. All right. So there's sports birthdays and sports history. I know you've been jonesing for it because she's been gone for 2 days. So you didn't get it on Tuesday. You didn't get it on Wednesday. But on this Thursday, here it is. You know you want it. Your salty shakedown.
Well, before we get too much into it, I want to relay this breaking news that the first ever game at Q2 Stadium here in Austin will feature the U.S. Women's National Team, and their last game prior to that 18-person roster being named.
Whoa.
Heading to the 2020 Olympics. They will take on Nigeria in a friendly.
Nice.
Alex Morgan has already posted a fun video, as well as Abby Dahlkemper, so everyone is excited. News about tickets will be released soon, but how awesome is that for the national stage to officially open that new stadium in Austin? It's the first time U.S. women's national team, men or women's, will be in Austin. I saw them play in San Antonio following their 2015 World Cup win, so I'm so excited to hear that they are coming to Austin. That released this morning during the 7 o'clock hour. So just wanted to let you guys know.
Huge.
So you can be on the lookout for those tickets. And also want to remind you that this week's Salty Shakedown brought to you by Good Stock by Nolan Ryan. The Salty Shakedown Sizzling Summer Tailgate Contest is still going on. It's the perfect choice when you're hosting a game day tailgate at the stadium or watch party in the comfort of your home. Hand-selected variety of their most popular Good Stock Angus steaks will ensure everyone gets their favorite cut. Meat so good you don't even need a Salty Shakedown. Head over to am13onthezone.com/contest to enter and win. All right, we've talked a little bit of Tom Brady today for his we can call him a crybaby from time to time, but again, he does have those rings, so I guess it's been worth it every time he's stared down a wide receiver who didn't follow along with the play calling at the time. But the news that we're talking about today is that the man, the myth, the legend has bought himself another yacht. In fact, he bought himself the sister yacht to his already 55-foot-long yacht that if you watched any of the Bucks championship water parade, you would have seen it. But now he's bought the sister yacht, the 77-foot yacht that they are also using the same name, Viva Avida. Apparently, it's an environmental cause that his wife is very close with. So they've decided to keep the name with the new boat. This boat, however, features bedrooms and can house up to 9 people. On top of that, also 2 crew members. And he's excited because apparently they love to go to the Bahamas. So this will allow them to take longer trips in which they can go to the Bahamas and gallivant around the Bahamas and then come back. They don't have to do those silly day trips anymore. They can go overnight. You remember the game of Life?
Yes.
And you'd get like a vacation home or something, and it'd be like you get a lake house or a ski home. And it's like Tom Brady is living that world, and he's gone with the yacht. I can't imagine what kind of boat he's going to get when he does finally retire and has more time on his hands to get an even bigger yacht where he can, I don't know, go to Europe or something like that. Because right now he's just going to the Bahamas for a short weekend getaway, I guess. And why not? You're in Florida now. Take advantage of it. You were up, in really cold Boston area where probably not a lot of action going on around there for yachting. Chris, how do we get an invite?
That's a great question.
Because Tom Brady finally did text me back. He sent out his phone number.
Yeah.
And I think it was a mass text because it didn't feel very personal to me. He invited me to join in on a live stream that I guess he was doing prior to the draft. And I was like, that didn't answer the question I asked you 6 weeks ago, Tom. Where is that answer? But instead I guess he's been busy buying his new yacht because he doesn't have it quite yet.
Wow. Well, and you're ahead of me because you've got a text back from Tom Brady. So I on that what he invited you to, that Zoom call, I did see. It was a funny moment that I saw where Kevin Hart says to him, was it Detroit? I think he named some really bad team. He said, "Yeah, you're impressive, Tom Brady, but if you really want to impress me, go to the Detroit Lions, lead them to the Super Bowl, then I'll be impressed." I don't think Brady's doing that.
So there was a previous Zoom interaction between the two of them where he again jabbed Tom and said, "How selfish that you go down there. You name it Tampa Bay. You haven't even played a game or won a championship." So they've just kind of built up this fun back and forth with each other. Tom in the latest one responded, "Oh, it's so nice that they couldn't get the Rock, so here's Kevin Hart," that kind of thing. So I do love it. And again, it's awesome that Tom is adding to his yachting collection. He's not getting rid of his 55-footer.
Wow.
He's keeping it. Just adding a 77-footer, which he says he hopes he gets in by the end of next year. And again, one day he will retire, and one day we may see him with an even bigger yacht. So congrats on being able to live that lifestyle, sir. All right, I have to show the Aggies some love, which is very rare for me, but I'm gonna do it here.
This is a shocker. Wow.
Because I'm a dog lover. Okay. And they have welcomed the newest Reveille 10 to the family. Old Reveille 9 still very much alive and well. She is just over at the at a retirement center, basically, I guess is what they refer it to, the Stevenson Companion Center, where animals whose owners can't take care of them anymore, they can take care of them there. So she is roaming the halls and spreading joy, and her old handlers can go see her whenever they want. But they do have this new Reveille in. She is, of course, the first lady of Aggieland. She's a sable and white American rough coat collie. I didn't know that. I just thought they were collies. That one's very specific. And she's actually from Topeka, Kansas. She's been in training for the last 3 months. And her handler, Lucas Scoggins, has the honor and privilege of being her main caretaker. So they spend almost every waking hour together. He's actually going to take her home for the summer. That's a lot of pressure, Chris, if you ask me, to take the mascot of your school and a mascot that is so beloved in the way that Reveille is for the Texas Aggies, that you're going to take her home for the summer. I mean, it's not like it's hard to take care of a dog. It's just that's a lot of extra weight for basically a celebrity coming to live with you during the summertime.
Well, and it's funny, and I think Reveille's cool. I like Reveille and as a mascot for Texas A&M. But interestingly, a little bit of a digression here. Jimbo Fisher yesterday made news. He spoke to the Touchdown Club of Houston, and he vowed that Texas A&M would beat Nick Saban's ass. His word, not mine. Going to beat his ass. So I think Reveille 10 hopefully has a little more, public decorum, and at least is better spoken than Jimbo Fisher, I would think.
Yeah, and she'll be there to witness either that victory or defeat. And I guess in any case, it's always good to have a dog by your side for any of those moments. So congratulations to the Aggies and the Aggie family on your brand new Revelry. I hear some of them in the past have not been kind to people who want to pet them when they are available for those opportunities. So let's hope that this one goes over better at parties and situations like that. Finally, I want to give a shout out to a Karen. Surprisingly enough, they've been getting bad raps, whether you're Karens or not. I keep getting called Karens sometimes on the internet. It's totally fine. I think it's hilarious. But Karen Vesith out in California, she's 62 years old, was golfing at her club, the Coda de Casa Golf and Racket Club, where she, on April 18th, within a span of 23 minutes, hit 2 hole-in-ones.
Oh!
And if that wasn't great enough, the club, in honor of those hole-in-ones, for each one, gave her a $500 gift card to use at the club bar.
Nice.
She immediately headed to the bar and used all of that money for everyone who was there and got them drinks and food. And that's just incredible. I mean, you do that and you turn around and you share the love with everyone there. Fantastic stuff. Way to go, Karen. Congratulations on the hole-in-ones, 2 of them on the 8th and 10th. Of course, they were par 3s.
And but she's 62.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
She did this at age 62.
Partying at the bar.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what time her tea time is, but could you imagine that was like a 7 o'clock tea time, and 11 a.m. she's at the bar, just the drinks are on me, everyone. I got 2 hole-in-ones.
That is beautiful.
So I love it. And there concludes today's Salty Shakedown. Now, Chris, we've been hinting at it, but there was a fantastic no-hitter.
Yes. Yeah, we are long overdue to talk about it. And the thing that blows me away about it, it was the Baltimore Orioles on the road. The pitcher, John Means of the Baltimore Orioles, gets the no-hitter at Seattle against the Seattle Mariners. And it was almost a perfect game. But there was kind of a muffed ball by I think a third baseman that kept it from being a perfect game. But here's what blew me away. So it's a no-hitter for the Baltimore Orioles. The last time any pitcher solo threw a no-hitter for the Baltimore Orioles, it was Jim Palmer. And you even mentioned Dave Ayler. Jim Palmer was known for doing Hanes underwear commercials in magazines or like photo shoots. So Jim Palmer of underwear fame. And the last time Baltimore threw a combined no-hitter was 1991. So it's been 30 years since there was any no-hitter. And gosh, I can't even do the math here. Well over 50 years since a solo pitcher threw a new no-hitter for the Baltimore Orioles. So good on John Means. A big day for him. That was way cool.
And a combined no-hitter is harder to do than the single no-hitter, since you got to bring in other pitchers.
Well, and why do you ever take a pitcher out when he's got a no-hitter?
I think Come on, that out either.
What?
And it was the catcher that blew the perfect
Oh, it
game.
was the catcher. Thank you.
It was a wild pitch or something that he dropped.
So, wow, good on him. Way cool. Coming up, let's see, what do we have coming up? We've got Mr. Tanner Carlson joining us. Tanner called a Dallas Cowboys being cut, a veteran name, and I thought, what does he know? Well, he didn't know what and then boom, the next day he was cut. So I'm sure Tanner will revel in that glory. One quick thing, because I saw the Jimbo Fisher story where he said they're going to kick the butt, putting it kindly, of Nick Saban. Is Jimbo, because he has a ring and a championship, is he the greatest head football coach in the state of Texas right now? I mean, and I'll even throw the professional coaches of the Texans and the Cowboys in there. Do we, and I know you're partisan to Steve Sarkisian,
who also has rings.
He does, but not as a head coach.
True.
Not as a head coach. I don't know. And if you could be totally unbiased, would you rather have Jimbo Fisher or Steve Sarkisian as head coach of the Longhorns?
I need to see what Steve can do first.
Yeah. And I might even lean Steve Sarkisian just because those championships at Alabama are more recent. It's like, Jimbo Fisher, what have you done for me lately?
Exactly.
So it might.
What year is he going into?
Jimbo?
Yeah.
I'd have to Google that.
4 or 5?
Something like that. And the expectations are very high at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And they are getting better every year. We'll see what they do now that Kellen Mond has left. But they do seem to be getting a little better every year. But they want a big increase pretty quickly here. All right. We'll talk some NFL football and Dallas Cowboys with Tanner Carlson. 8:20, your chance to win the NASCAR at Coda tickets. So keep listening. We're with you till 9 on the Chris Duel Show. Thank you, Pam. Pam Buckroyd, welcome in. Loves dogs.
That's my grandmother.
Oh, cool.
From Dallas.
Beautiful. Okay, somebody on Twitter, you probably saw, the average NHL player is 6'1", 200, so I will respectfully disagree about them being little stick men. But I noticed as well, Shannon, like I would meet like local hockey players in the minor leagues for like the San Antonio Iguanas and Dragons. And they do, when you see them with the pads off, they look a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are shorter than 6'1". A lot of them are 5'9", 5'10".
Well, I'm not saying they're small humans, but compared to the likes of NFL linemen who are in the trenches, they're pretty small. I mean, they're an entire person bigger almost.
Yeah. All right. I got to send that email. Where is that? Thank you, Shannon, for loading those Diamonds Directs. I appreciate it. And now I need Layla on QC Kinetics. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Philip Ramos Longoria. Good morning, Philip. Sam Tobias says, when someone asks you a question that you already know the answer to, just reply with, hell, I don't know. Thank you. All right.
I wasn't here all morning, so I did get to sleep in a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't see. I walked out like 90 minutes ago. I didn't see you, so I was just walking out just to see if you just decided to take the whole darn morning off.
Oh, no. I came in at 7.
Ah, okay.
So I was still able to sleep in a little bit, catch up on any normal sleep I would have gotten, or any sleep that I lost.
Yeah.
Oh, so I went to after the game. There was probably 3 cars in line. I was in line for almost 30 minutes.
Oh God, I hate that.
I was like, there's 3 people
Yeah.
here, and it's
Yeah, and you've got one job. It's fast food. Give me my food. That's why we go. Give me my food
And
fast.
so I was like, okay, I'll be home. I called my wife and said, she was already in bed. I said, I'll be home in 10 minutes. You want me to pick you anything up from McDonald's or whatever? And she was like, no, I'm fine. Or whatever. I'll be home in like 10 minutes. 30 minutes later, I was like, good Lord.
Wow.
It was insane. I never seen anything like it. Like there was, like it's one thing if it's like packed and there's a line wrapped around the building, but the fact that there was like 2 or 3 cars there, including me, I lost it.
Yeah.
It was my mind. Yeah, I accidentally deleted their email this morning. I got it back.
I always try to check my phone whenever I put it up there.
Yeah.
And I like have it all ready to go and mount it up, and I end up checking my phone. I'm like, where'd my phone go?
Yeah. I'm the same way. I'll have it, and I'm looking and I'm reaching into pockets.
I'm like, searching my pockets, like, oh, where'd my phone go? And I'm like, oh, I'm such an idiot. Oh.
Sam Tobias says, ladies and gentlemen, it's Tan Man, the Monkey Man.
It is. The Monkey Man is here.
Thank you, Carl Fisher. AJ Green saying, by the way, the no-hitter, it was a wild pitch blamed on the pitcher and not the catcher. Okay, I thought AJ, I heard it was the catcher, but I guess I got that wrong. Today is World Password Day. It's International No Diet Day. Okay, I got an excuse.
All right.
Maybe I'll go to In-N-Out Burger.
Oh God, don't use your day on In-N-Out.
Come on, man. It's delicious.
Everyone knows Whataburger's.
National Nurses Day. National Crepe Suzette Day. My God.
I do like some crepes though.
Yeah. National Beverage Day. Okay, what kind of beverage?
Any beverage?
I guess it's any beverage. So now I'm just noticing Mother's Day is Sunday.
Yeah.
Your wife is pregnant. Do you get her something for Mother's Day?
I am getting her.
Good man. But I know this may be a gray area. Yeah. But I imagine it's probably smart.
It's better
just to err on the side of.
It's better to get something and not need to than to have nothing at all and then her expecting me to get her something.
Dude, I'm pregnant over here and you don't get me anything for Mother's Day?
Yeah. So I did tell her that it's going to be in late though. So she knows that she's not getting it Sunday.
That's funny. Jason, double protein style is a good choice. You eat it with the lettuce wrap, you avoid the bread, save on the carbs, and it tastes every bit as good. The weekend has begun because we said it does. It's Thursday. Just start the weekend. Why not? You can, we will, we are. It's the Chris Duel Show with Shannon Salty Sweeney. She is back. She is fully vaccinated. She's going to go running in the streets of Austin, hugging people and kissing them. I don't know. Any special way of celebrate? How should we celebrate, Shannon, and I heard someone say you're fully vaccinated 2 weeks after your second vaccine. So there's that. So I still got like a week to go, I think. Or maybe it's this Thursday. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I'm worried that us talking about it's going to get the secret out that I'm vaccinated and I can't use not having the vaccine as an excuse to stay home. People invite me places.
Yeah, no, I don't want to go out.
I feel safe.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's see. I'm fully vaccinated. Shannon's fully vaccinated. Dave Ayler, we know, has had one shot, his second one coming up next Friday in studio. Not just a radio reporter and a play-by-play guy and a draft analyst, but now we have to add soothsayer because he made a prediction just within 24 hours. It came true. We will get to that. But the first question for Tanner Carlson in studio, are you vaccinated?
I have the one vaccine.
Oh, boom. Okay, so you got one.
I've got one, and I believe my appointment's Monday.
All right.
The 10th.
Where did you get it? At H-E-B, CVS?
Yeah, well, some dude was on the corner selling needles, and I stuck one in my arm.
He said it was for COVID.
He said it was for COVID. I said,
cool.
it got me really lightheaded. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, I felt like I was on cloud 9 afterwards. So.
Which one was he offering?
I think it was the Pfizer. Yeah, it was definitely the 2-shot one for sure. So. No, but yeah, it was. I found one somewhere along the line and was like, oh look, they have an appointment available. Let me go there and get it done. So it was at a hospital. So there's that.
Good for you.
Yeah,
and I know he's in Austin now, and I like him a lot, and I love his podcast. Joe Rogan, who got into a little bit of hot water about a week ago for suggesting on his podcast.
Can't have opinions anymore.
Yeah, but and even like Dr. Fauci, and I think the president cited him. He said, if you're a young person and if you're in your 20s and you're in great shape, you really don't need to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
And you're a young person in your 20s and in great shape like Shannon, and I'm proud of the two of you for getting your vaccine anyway.
Yeah.
Darn it.
I think he walked it back, though.
He did walk. Yeah, he did.
For saying that, but
Well,
Tanner, I'm going to be thinking about you next week because I just came back from for 2 days after that second.
So
shot.
did it really have that bad of an effect on you? Like, did it really knock you out, or did you just use it as an excuse to not go to work?
No, my fever was like 102.
Oh wow.
So I was not. Yeah.
Not feeling it.
I hate missing work, and the over 90 emails I have just from 2 days of missing work. I mean, I was awake last night, not because I was feeling bad, but because I was now thinking of all the things that I have to make up
right
now that I'm back.
See, my biggest symptom was I couldn't get my head off the pillow. I had like insane fatigue. And on the Friday that I called in sick and didn't come to work that Friday, it's like I would lift my head off the pillow like 7 and I go, oh, hell no. And I go back to sleep for 3 hours. I go, all right, let's try. And I've got a clock. All right, it's 6 a.m. Nope, can't do it. Then I go, all right, it's 9:30 a.m. Let's see. No, I'm going back. This went on for a day.
And how long does it take for it to hit you? Like, is it like they stick the needle in your arm and boom, you're sick?
No. First night I felt fine. I think Shannon did too. First night it's like, but
it's when you wake up.
I got nothing. And so went to bed the first night, and then I kind of like at 2 a.m. I woke up like, woo, something's not right here. Yeah. And for me, it was extreme fatigue. Right. I don't think I had a fever. I didn't really have body aches I had a mild headache for like 10 minutes, but
I was right on the money, 12 hours.
Wow.
I'll be interested to see what it's kind of like figuring out your superpower. Like, how's it going to affect you now?
Which is so weird.
It's like, how is it going to affect me? Am I going to get like super strength now, or like, how's that going to work? So, and
I know people who got both Pfizer shots, zero side effects.
Yeah. That's what's so bizarre about the entire thing. Even getting COVID, it affects people differently and whatever. So it's like this entire thing is so inconsistent with each individual person. It's unreal, which is why so many people have so many questions here and there about what you can and cannot do, and why there's so many different rules all over the place. I don't necessarily blame them because of all that, but it's like this whole thing is it's crazy, just craziness how it affects one person and it doesn't affect the other.
Absolutely.
Whether it be the disease itself or the vaccine.
Good point.
Anyway.
All right. The last time you were in the studio, 48 hours ago, you were talking about the Cowboys, and we're talking about all the defensive players they drafted. First 6 picks go on the defense. And you said, and correct me if I don't get it right, but I'm kind of paraphrasing. You said, I really expect a name veteran, at least one to be let go by the Cowboys. And you said, I wouldn't be surprised if it were defensive tackle Antwaun Woods.
Yeah.
24 hours later, less than 24 hours, boom, the Cowboys blow out Antwaun Woods. Does Mike McCarthy, does Dan Quinn call you? Did you know something? How the hell did you nail that prediction?
Well, I just texted him and was like, hey guys, I'm about to go on air. I need something real good and juicy for today. And that's what they gave me. And so I just went with it. No, it was, so I like I said, I'm such a dork, and I have nothing better to do with my life than to go and insert the draftees in the depth chart and look at the depth chart of who are all of our defensive tackles with our free agent signings, along with our returning players, along with the draftees, and what does that list look like? And you're not going to sign a guy like Brent Urban and then cut him. You're not going to sign a guy like Carlos Watkins from the Texans over free agency. Those are 2 free agent guys that are going to be defensive tackles, with Tyron Crawford retiring, and then draft 2 more defensive tackles on top of that. Your list is like 8 or 10 players deep at one position, and you've got a lot of developmental guys. And when you have a guy like Antwaun Woods, who was a developmental type player when he first joined the Cowboys, 3 years now, he's been kind of that same player.
Okay.
Is he going to break out? So I was like, I don't think he's really worth keeping on the roster if you've got these 2 rookies, you've got 2 free agents, and then you've got a couple of other guys with Neville Gallimore, who's probably going to start because he was a rookie last season, but really came on strong at the end of the year. Tristan Hill was looking good at the beginning of the year, got hurt, missed the rest of the season. He's also kind of one of those developmental guys that we kind of want to probably push more playing time to. So I kind of just put 2 and 2 together and was like, I just don't see a spot on this roster that benefits having Antoine Woods. It's not like he's going to play special teams. He's not going to be running down on punt return, trying to make a play. So if you're not going to contribute on special teams and you're just going to be a backup, there's really no need in having you on the roster.
So to cut him on the 5th of May, which was yesterday's date, do you think that was doing him a favor? I mean, because you could have just brought him into camp and said, you're not going to make it, we're going to release you. Do you think they were doing him a favor so he has more of an opportunity to try to catch on with another team?
Yeah, and we've already seen, unfortunately, the beginning of these workouts. We've already got a guy from the Denver Broncos who's out for a season, an offensive lineman who tore his Achilles. So unfortunately, you're going to have players that are going to fall during training camp, during these offseason workouts, whether that be OTAs or whatever the case may be. And so, unfortunately, players are going to start dropping, and you're going to start seeing some big injuries. You're going to start seeing teams need at least a fill-in guy, and Antoine Woods could fill that role really for any team. I think he's a good player. I think he's good enough to be on a roster. But it just didn't fit for what the Cowboys are, the youth movement that are coming through for the Dallas Cowboy defense.
So, Shannon, do you want Tanner to make a subsequent prediction to see if he can keep this streak alive? What's going to be the next big move for the Cowboys?
Well, we heard from Dak Prescott saying that he could play today if there was a game today. And that's, everyone's been praising his recovery from his injury. There's even been a couple of videos of him working out. People are saying he looks really great. So I'd like you to prophesize maybe that O-line a little bit to make sure that we're going to be covered there to keep him safe this season so he can actually make it through. Because if we don't fix that, then I think we may be in the same boat as we were last year.
Yeah, and the Cowboys did address a little bit the offensive line, not so much in free agency, but they did address it in the draft by getting the left tackle from Marshall and getting the guard from, I believe it was Nebraska. That dude's not bad. That 7th round pick, I actually watched some of his, games after they drafted him, after they picked him. I was like, well, let me see some of Nebraska offensive line play. He's kind of like that Mark Colombo. He's just kind of nasty. Greg Popovich would love him because he's got some nasty to him. And so he's just a nasty offensive lineman that's just going to bully his way through. He's not technically sound at all. He's going to lunge forward. If he went up against Aaron Donald, he'd get abused. Don't get me wrong. But he's just got some fight and some grit and just exactly what you want in an offensive lineman. So I actually really like kind of his attitude. If you can kind of tighten up some of the fundamentals and whatnot, then I think he would be a contributing piece, at least in terms of depth, because Lord knows the Dallas Cowboys offensive line can't stay healthy. It's been, I want to say, 5 years straight now that Tyron Smith hasn't played a full season. I'm concerned with Tyron. I don't think he's not going to play 17 games. Know that going into the season. Know that he's going to be out possibly 3 to 4 weeks. That's at best. That's best case scenario. He misses 3 or 4 weeks throughout the regular season, maybe with a hamstring, ankle, maybe a little back soreness, whatever it is. You hope that La'el Collins is back 100% because I think that was the big one. It wasn't just that you lost your left tackle. You lost your bookends. You lost both of your guys. Then you had to move Zach Martin out there. Then that's whenever he got hurt. And it was just a domino effect since that point in time. So addressing the depth and being comfortable with the guys you have back there in terms of the rotation as well. Just know you're going to have backup offensive linemen playing at some point. You just hope it's as minimal as possible.
Now, being the Cowboys roster geek that you are, having examined the depth chart as you did and prophesized that the Cowboys would release Antoine Woods, do you feel with these new draftees, and obviously we won't know till they get to camp and we won't know till we get into the season, but we've discussed the Cowboys defense doesn't have to be a top 10 defense. They just need to be middle of the pack. If our offensive line is healthy, if, as Dak Prescott says, he's back and healthy, he's got so many toys, so many skill players he can get the ball to and put up a lot of points with. Do you think that new defensive coordinator Dan Quinn can move this from a historically bad defense to middle of the pack a number 15, number 16 defense, and therefore give the Cowboys a good chance to win the NFC East.
And that's what we're looking for, right? We're just looking for average. We're just looking for,
please.
Yeah, give me vanilla defense, and I'll be okay. What's another thing about looking at the roster, and especially defensively and some offensive guys, is who are some of the Garrett guys that are still hanging around? Who are some of the guys from the previous coaching staff who were just kind of hanging around and maybe towards the bottom of that roster? Not necessarily the Dak Prescotts and the Ezekiel Elliott's, but who are some of those guys that were just kind of hanging on by a thread because maybe Garrett liked him a little bit? Those guys probably you're not going to see anymore. A Noah Brown. That's kind of what jumps out at me. He made some plays last year. He's kind of a special teams guy. For some reason, the Garrett coaching staff kept him around ever since they love the guy. And I never really saw that. With Dallas drafting another wide receiver, I don't expect Noah Brown to be on this roster.
Dave Ayler just, I don't know if you did that intentionally, but you got my intentions. Contest time, right? We are moving toward 8:20. Thank you I get so caught up talking Cowboys, I forget that we do a contest.
I knew we had the contest, so I was like, oh, I must be going over. I'm going to shut up right now.
Yeah, I saw a little shiny piece of paper from Dave going, dude, it's time for the contest. And this one is actually a big one as we move toward 8:20 now. Well, we're doing this all this week at 8:20. It's your chance to win, and they're really good seats. Seats to go see the NASCAR Cup Series, Echo Park Automotive, Texas Grand Prix, NASCAR race at Circuit of the Americas in the Austin area on May 23rd. Be the 5th caller right now to get to Dave Ayler, and that phone number is 800-707-9760. Some of you might want to put a 1 in front of that, depending on how you dial. 1-800-707-9760. We'll do this again tomorrow. If you don't have the key, you need the keyword, and the only way you get the keyword is to subscribe to the Insider email newsletter that you get either at Ticket 760 or AM 1300, the Zone's website. And we'll do this again tomorrow, and we're going to have a winner coming up in just a few moments. So Shannon Salty Sweeney, that's pretty cool. So what else? Should we explore more Cowboys with Tanner, or do we need to talk Aaron Rodgers with you?
I did want to get just a real quick take because I do want to maybe touch on Aaron for a bit. But what do y'all think about Micah Parsons being number 11 and being a middle linebacker for the Cowboys and wearing number 11? Like, to me, my OCD is already kind of like twitching a little bit. It's already kind of starting to get a little pulse of freaking out. So I just want to know. It's weird because when I see it in college, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me when I see it in college. That is interesting. So, but when I already know seeing it in the NFL, it's going to be weird.
Shannon?
I mean, this is a fantastic segue here because you brought up Aaron Rodgers, and then now I'll also bring up Tom Brady because he was the biggest crybaby about it, right? The changing.
Right.
Who am I going to know to throw it to? That, and the other.
I don't know. The guy with the same color jersey on. Yeah. Who knows?
I personally don't really care about the numbers. The only thing that throws me off is when they've already become an established player on that roster, and then they change their number because I spend most of the first half of the season trying to get players down by the number on the back of their jersey because you can't always read the name. But our question today, Tanner, is who is the biggest sports crybaby? And 3 of our 4 options are Tom Brady, LeBron James, and Aaron Rodgers. And we have other. I suggested Cristiano Ronaldo because he's known for actually crying on the field when he doesn't get his way with the referee. But then we have Aaron Rodgers, who's obviously currently in the news right now, a guy like Tom Brady, and then LeBron, who has been memed numerous times for throwing fits on the court.
LeBron, he's always Beyonce, always.
Yeah, never Michelle. No, he's never Kelly.
He's Beyonce always. He's always top of the list when it comes to any type of crying or whining or moaning and groaning. I'm going to put LeBron at the top of that list literally every time.
Well, but Shannon made a great point. She said, Tom Brady is often, getting in receivers' faces or questioning the calls of the refs or even being a diva off.
High-fiving referees.
Yeah. So, I mean, but she said, we forgive him.
Yeah.
Shannon said we forgive him because he's got all those rings. Well, LeBron's got a lot of rings.
He also has a lot of losses.
So why do we automatically say it's LeBron and not give consideration to Tom Brady?
I throw LeBron in there immediately, no questions asked, because he has. And I know other players have done it. I know you can go back to Vlade Divac. I know you can go back to all the floppers before him, but he made it popular. He made it okay for a superstar to get into a referee's face, make the crybaby meme face. He has a meme of being a
does.
crybaby. So whenever you've got a meme of being a crybaby, I think you win the crybaby award. So
that's a good point.
I just when you do those things at that level and you're that superstar and then you influence I see high school players. When I go to a high school game, these players are all up in the referee's face, putting their hands up in the air like they're LeBron or Harden going to the lane and not getting a call. I'm like, dude,
yeah.
Like when you have that much influence, because he does have a lot of influence, I'm never going to take that away from him. Whenever you have that much influence and you use it that way to hurt the game of basketball the way I see fit, it just absolutely makes me cringe every time I watch him out there.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers,
and he's a semi truck going in the lane and he gets touched by a fingernail and he flails around like he just got hit by Mike Tyson.
I want to get to Aaron Rodgers before we run out of time in this segment. You brought up a great point to me last night. And Shannon, here's what Tanner said. I want to get your thoughts. Think about Deshaun Watson before the revelations of sexual misconduct, those before we knew about that, and we knew Deshaun Watson wanted out of Houston, there were a lot of people going, dude, you're trying to force your way out. You're refusing to play. He was getting some blowback for that. With Aaron Rodgers, you made the point, Tanner, most people are on Aaron Rodgers' side going, I get it. They're not really helping him out.
Yeah.
Why do you think, and you've got to put your mind back in time before we knew some of these allegations that came out about Deshaun Watson. Why do we like Aaron Rodgers more than we liked Deshaun Watson when he wanted out of Houston?
The only thing I can think of is that it's just his longevity. He's been there for so long, and the Packers have had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after first round pick after first round pick to build the offense, to give him weapons. They've had 16 free agent seasons with him as their starting quarterback, and they still refuse to give him weapons. And so I think people are like, okay, after that long, you've had plenty of chances. I think with the Texans, maybe it's more so, well, dude, you've only been there 4 or 5 years. Let them rebuild. But at the same time, it's kind of like if you've got a star quarterback and you've got crap. In fact, you've gotten rid of the weapons that Deshaun Watson did have.
Yeah.
It's not like Aaron Rodgers had weapons. They're like, oh, Devontae Adams, you're going to be a troublemaker today. I'm going to trade you for a second round pick. They never did that, So it's like at the same time, you're kind of thinking, well, it doesn't take 5 years to rebuild a team. Not in the NFL. In the NFL, you can go out, spend all the money you want, and you can go buy some free agencies. You can go buy some talent if you
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and so or you can draft your talent. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not saying it's easier said than done, obviously, to hit on those players, but if you go get some talent, you go look for some of these guys, and you go pursue them, and you trade up to go get a wide receiver. Say, they wanted to trade up this year and get Devontae Smith or something like that. They could do that, but they just refused to. And I think after 16, almost 2 decades of playing time and being the starting quarterback, I think people are just like, okay, I get it. Aaron Rodgers is annoyed with it. But at the same time, Aaron's making a lot of decisions of like petty ex-girlfriend, high school, middle school relationship, like social media love, like just crap. Like, oh, I'm gonna go on social media, and not that he's done that, but just like in general relationships, like behind people's back or like subtweeting your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. It's like, dude, stop airing out everybody's dirty laundry. No one really cares if they cut some 8th string wide receiver that had a promising camp last year. Like, I know you don't care about that because it just gets to a point to where you're just nitpicking at little things that the GM's doing.
Tanner Carlson is a great follow on Twitter at Tanner Carlson 20. And now you really want to follow him because he predicts the future. He's the Nostradamus of the Dallas Cowboys and the NFL. Great call.
I know exactly how the next season's going to go.
We will bring you in next week for more prophecy, Mr. Nostradamus. Thanks so much, Tanner. Great stuff, man.
See y'all then.
Quick break. We will update the poll voting and we'll talk about whatever else is breaking. And as you mentioned, and maybe I want to talk a little more about it, Shannon, with the big story in Austin coming to the new stadium for Austin FC, the American women's soccer team coming. That's a big deal. Megan Rapinoe and company coming to Austin. I love that. We'll get into that again as well. With you till 9 on a Thursday, it's the Chris Duel Show. Christopher Summers, time for a new president of basketball operations for the Spurs. I don't agree.
Chris, if you also want to come back with what we were just talking about with Tanner, I've got a little different take than what he was.
Which 1 sec. So which take the
why we're treating him differently.
Okay, we'll do it. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead. You're kidding me. Wow. So I guess we do 2 tomorrow. He got nobody had the keyword right. He had no winner. Wow. Okay. My guess is, and talk to Brian, but my guess is you give away 2 tomorrow. You know, callers 5 and 6. Would you do that, Shannon? Give away 2 tomorrow? How do we handle that?
It's probably up to Brian and the AE.
Okay.
But I also don't know that we want to talk about how we didn't get a winner today on the video feed.
Yeah. Well, it just shows people if you would just.
I mean, I saw him taking calls.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're looking at the wrong email.
Yeah, that could be. Either that or Dave had it wrong.
Uh-oh.
Which
I didn't look at my email yesterday to see the word.
Yeah.
Or do I have the list in front of me?
Jason Paniagua, you cannot win again. However, you can encourage a friend and a non-family member who you would like to go with to sign up for the newsletter. I don't think it can be a family member. Goodbye Twitter is trending on Twitter. Not sure what that's about. All right. Welcome back. Chris Duel Show with Shannon Salty Sweeney. Lots to cover before we get to 9 o'clock, including the results of our poll question. We will get to that. Dave Ayler making the show go, creating your soundscape. He is your soundscape stylist. And Shannon, we were talking about it with Tanner Carlson just a few moments ago, and obviously Aaron Rodgers, a big story in the news, trying to force his way out of Green Bay. There's new revelations every day. Yesterday's revelations were he's now calling their general manager, Jerry Krause, who is the guy who Michael Jordan says forced him out of Chicago and the Bulls. And he's reportedly now texting other players around the NFL saying, well, you may not want to come to Green Bay because I'm not going to be there if you come. So that's the latest. And Tanner brought this up to me yesterday off the air. And you have to think back to when Deshaun Watson first was telling the Houston Texans he wanted out. He was not going to play for them again. Now we've heard these subsequent sexual misconduct allegations. So now it's a whole different vibe that a lot of us have for Deshaun Watson. But before we heard those allegations, when we just heard he wanted out, and we figured it was because of DeAndre Hopkins trading him for a bag of Doritos and letting J.J. Watt get away, and just the general mismanagement of that football team. A lot of people were kind of down on Deshaun Watson. It's like, dude, honor your contract. How dare you? Why are you Whereas with Aaron Rodgers, myself included, it's like I kind of side with Aaron Rodgers on this. You got a Hall of Fame quarterback who got you to a Super Bowl. You've got one job while he's playing at an MVP level, and he's the reigning MVP. You should keep him happy and surround him with assets on offense and defense to get you guys to a Super Bowl. Why do you think there seems to have been a different perception of each quarterback?
Well, I think you said it. He's taken them to a Super Bowl and he's won them a Super Bowl. I think it's almost reminding me of LeBron. The first time he left Cleveland, he's Deshaun Watson. The second time he leaves Cleveland, he's Aaron Rodgers. The first time he left, there was all this hope. He was the chosen one. He was supposed to take them to the promised land, and he left before he could do that. Then he comes back and he does it. And so once he leaves, they're like, okay, you've done what we've asked of you. We can't ask you to do anymore. And I think that's where, obviously they're leaving their original teams here. But Deshaun, I think in the eyes of a lot of NFL lovers and Houston fans, has so much potential. Why not be the guy to do it for that team that drafted you? Yes, there's a lot of things that weren't necessarily your fault as far as certain assets leaving your team. But I don't think in the grand scheme of things, he's given it a long enough shot, or, he really hasn't taken to the new operations people and coaching staff. He just kind of said, no, I'm not even going to give it a chance. Well, why aren't you even going to give it a chance? Versus Aaron, who's currently in his current situation where he feels like they've done wrong by him a couple of times by not signing certain players, by letting go of other players, and then obviously trading up in order to draft another QB when he still feels like, hey, I'm playing at an MVP level. Oh, by the way, I just won another MVP. So I think that's maybe a little bit where the contention is. Interesting. There's a restaurant in Green Bay offering him and his, yes, you have the story right there, him and his fiance Shailene free beer and food for as long as they'd like, whenever they'd like, just to keep him around. And I think the owner is saying, I hope his way to his heart is through his stomach. That might be enough to sway me. I don't know how good the burgers are there, but I love a good cheeseburger. You have the full story. The name is what, Brews or
Mr. Brews Tap House. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, that's gonna, and you see this happen a lot when a player's leave. I mean, when Kawhi wanted to leave, I think they're San Antonio.
Great marketing.
Yeah, exactly. Here we are now. We would not be talking about Mr. Brews Tap House in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So it's a brilliant idea for restaurants and other companies to do this. But Shailene, yeah, okay, well, maybe if we can get free beer and burgers, okay, we'll stay.
And
good luck with that.
Shailene tells me she doesn't drink beer or eat burger.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know why, but that doesn't seem like it's her ballpark there.
No. And I do want to get back into this, and you broke the story for us this morning, and it broke this morning during the show. A big match, which I guess this is going to be before Austin FC actually plays there, if I have that right, at the brand new Q2 Stadium for Austin FC. This is big news for Austin, and I think all of South and Central Texas.
Yes, Austin FC, of course, plays their first home game June 19th. This game between the U.S. Women's National Team and Nigeria will be June 16th. So they will be the first team to grace the brand new field turf from Arizona, not even from Texas. It's that special that it was flown in and planted right here in Austin. They have their own special lighting system and watering that they use to take care of the field. So U.S. Women's National Team, who of course have been very vocal about fields and their conditions when they haven't been great. Hawaii being one of them, where Megan Rapinoe, I believe that's actually where she tore her ACL just in practice in Mexico City. So there's been issues before where they have brought them to the forefront when conditions weren't great. So let's hope everything goes well on that front for Austin FC in Q2, because of course the U.S. Women's National Team would have no problem saying, hey man, this is not a field ready to play. I'm sure it is, after seeing the stadium and meeting all of the ops people who are just doing a wonderful job and moving as quickly as they can to prepare everyone for the opening and inaugural match. Now they've bumped that date up by 3 days by saying they are hosting this national team. And again, the first time a national team is going to be playing in Austin, which is incredible. Witnessing them in San Antonio right off their first World Cup victory in 2015, or first in a while, that was amazing. So many supporters that were out there. I'm not sure yet what the capacity is going to be, but I'm sure they're going to get as many people in there that they can safely, and hopefully they will sell out all of these tickets, because it's truly to see a winning team, because we know you go see a U.S. men's team, you're really just there to watch the Stars and Stripes play. You're not expecting much of anything, but the women are so incredible. They put the ball in the back of the net. You know you're going to see some goals, and again, it is also the final game before they named that 18-player roster heading into the Olympics. So there's going to be you're going to get to see the best out of those players on the field, because there's a lot on the line for them. A lot of them want either, that first opportunity to be an Olympian, or if you're like Carly Lloyd, she's, I think, going on 38, 39. This is going to be her swan song here. She's already said, I plan on retiring after the Olympics, at least nationally, on that level. So, she's really hoping that she makes the roster this year.
And you mentioned Carly Lloyd right there, and you mentioned Megan Rapinoe, just so many great personalities on that USA women's team. And I think of somebody like Megan Rapinoe, who's become so outspoken and, kind of an activist icon, in addition to a phenomenal soccer player. And, it sounds like the perfect fit for the Team USA women's soccer team to come to Austin, because Austin's such a great destination, and to open this, brand new state-of-the-art stadium. You mentioned the grass, the field from Arizona. It makes total sense. I just brilliant marketing, brilliant idea, way to get the deal done by Q2 Stadium and everybody involved. And as you mentioned, when you toured the stadium, a couple of weeks ago. Here you've got Austin FC getting ready to play there in June. You now have this big match coming up on June 16th, and we're still to learn what will be the big concert to open the stadium up concert-wise. Do we know anything on that front yet?
I have yet to hear anything. I wouldn't be surprised if they've already got something in place. Like I said, I did ask our tour guide ahead of time during the tour and said, hey, are there anything that y'all already have scheduled or it's coming? And I got a smirk and a smile and said, yes, but I cannot tell you. So I'm like, okay, they do know something, and I'm sure this announcement today was one of them, but there's got to be a concert on the horizon.
Got to be. And it's I mean, you would think it's going to be maybe in June, maybe in the same time frame.
I'm curious now that we're talking about the field. They do have a guy whose job it is to take care of the field, but I wonder if you have a concert, if you have something you lay over that field.
It's a great question.
Because you can only imagine you don't want a bunch of chairs that are then just dragging the grass around.
Well, and you got to think, and especially MLS, the whole deal has been MLS stadium-specific soccer stadiums like the one in LA and elsewhere that are then used for concerts. So there must be approved, effective ways that they do this for a concert. I have no idea. It does sound like a heck of a dilemma if you're going to have thousands of people on the field or the pitch, if you want to call it that. But I'm sure they'll figure it out, or they have figured it out. All right, a couple of things before we update the poll question. I do want to mention Dave Ayler has let me know that today is World Password Day. So I guess, does that mean should we update our passwords or just be thankful for our passwords?
Does that mean we forget or
we forget our passwords? Yeah, I don't know. So there's actually a website, passwordday.org. That's weird. Today is, check this out. I like this. Today, yeah, exactly. And they steal your passwords. Yeah, just put in your passwords here today on this day only.
While you're out of your social security number.
Yeah, and we'll come and take your house. Today is International No Diet Day. So eat whatever you want. And today is National Nurses Day. We've had National Teachers Day recently. We've had National Firefighters Day. Today is National Nurses Day. God love and God bless all the nurses. And then maybe the weirdest of the day, it is National Crepe Suzette Day. French pancakes, crepes Suzette.
That's their full name, Suzette?
Suzette, yeah.
Crepes. Okay.
Who was Suzette? I wonder. There must have been a Suzette who inspired someone to make crepes one day.
The name of the crepe machine thing that they
That's a great question. I never knew. I've heard of crepe Suzette all of my life. Who the heck is Suzette? I never knew.
They're like diet pancakes, right? They're just so flat.
They're not American pancakes.
Yeah.
Thick American pancakes from IHOP.
I can get behind No Diet Day.
Yeah.
I'm going to the ballpark. Might as well enjoy myself.
So you're going to be there for opening night. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
That is so cool.
Oh, yeah.
Good for you. Round Rock Express at Del Diamond tonight. Opening night because we interviewed the boss man. I know it's against the Oklahoma City Dodgers.
There you go.
Woo! How's that for some triple A baseball knowledge? All right, Shannon, the poll question inspired by Aaron Rodgers, but the last few times we checked, he will not be the winner of this poll.
And he's still not, but he has moved up in the ranks. LeBron James still leading the way with 73% of the vote. Tom Brady has fallen to only 8%, while Aaron Rodgers on the rise at 17%. These poll questions on Ticket and AM 1300 Zone's Twitters will be there the rest of the day, so you may continue voting and watching along.
And shout out to Hunter Hitch on Twitter, who reminded us that maybe the biggest crybaby of his generation, you got to go back a little bit, tennis player John McEnroe used to always whine and complain to the officials. And famously, you have to be kidding me. Are you kidding? John McEnroe was a whiner and a crybaby. Go ahead.
Is that the guy who now just goes after Serena Williams all the time?
Yeah, he's now an analyst. Yes. Yeah, he's now an analyst. And he used to have really curly hair. He had like a white dude afro with like a headband around it. And he was memorable. Danny Ainge, when he was with the Boston Celtics. Someday we'll have to go through our old-time favorite crybabies and whiners in sports. So there's that.
Mount Rushmore of sand, so we can just throw some water on them and wash them away.
Exactly.
Wash
there
them
you
away
go.
with their tears.
Shannon Salty Sweeney, welcome back. Great job as always this morning.
Thank you, sir. Looking forward to do it again tomorrow.
Yep, and we'll get your full report on opening night at Dell Diamond for the Round Rock, as Round Rock takes on the Oklahoma City Dodgers, Round Rock Express. Dave Ayler, great job, sir. Woo, we'll do Friday tomorrow. Tanner Carlson, outstanding as always. We will see you in 21 hours. Have yourself a great Thursday. Adios, amigos.